Happy hump day, everyone. It's Wednesday. Sometimes they say Wednesdays are kind of like Mondays in the middle of the week. Does that make sense? You went past the dreaded Monday, you cruised past Tuesday.
Well, and now you're on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday has beckoned that you have accepted the welcome. So celebrate it. Yes, it's an exciting midweek, really. Awesome vibes we have in store for you, we must say, today.
Funny enough, yes, but some people are still in bed, aren't they? Especially the kids. The kids are at home eating all our food. Mary, we have to talk about this later, please. I don't understand how much they eat these days. But not to worry, it's going to be a beautiful day. And even if you are lacking a little bit of motivation, don't worry, Mary has loads of motivation to spur you through the rest of the day.
Okay, I'm not sure about that, but I do know that every day is a perfect time to remind yourself that you're a work in progress. So regardless of whatever situation you are in, remember, the rule is to bear and keep going.
As in, yes, indeed. It's not about how you fall down, it's about how you get back up. Stay positive, everyone. Have a positive mindset. Treat yourself to a few breaks when you need to recharge.
And some treats.
Yes.
Food.
Good.
Yes. Sometimes, if you're the type who likes to, buy clothes, I know there's just, there's a lot going on, but just give yourself a treat and a break. You deserve it. You worked hard.
You need to plan something, actually. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And of course, my name is Mary Bashwa Alimi. Now, remember, you can use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all social media platforms, okay? That way you can be the best, a part of our show, okay?
Yeah, of course. And remember, you can watch us live. We are live online via our mobile app. You can download that from Google Play, and it's also available on iOS.
Watch us on GOTV, okay? We're on channel 16 now, and you can also join us via band UHF, that's a UHF band 49, okay? That's another option.
So far, so good. We see all your messages. We feel all your love on social media. Our handles at TVC Connect. Don't forget to use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC if you want to connect with us. Speaking of connections.
Yes, there's a lot going on today, so let's tell you what we have in store for you. If you're in a long-distance relationship, you want to draw closer because Seun Olabode, an author, founder, and lead counselor of the Relationship and Marriage Academy, will be discussing that on the show today. Finally, joining us on the couch is Raymond Omukwe Okereke, professionally known as Otis. He's a Nigerian-born UK rapper and songwriter.
Wonderful Wednesday,
Nice tune. I like it.
It's good to have you as well, MM.
Thank you so much.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I didn't sleep till 2 a.m. this morning.
I'm still looking for sleep right now. I don't know what happened. I woke up around past 11 or thereabouts, and I struggled to sleep.
I think so. I had a really long nap in the afternoon yesterday. And then hubby was to return from a trip yesterday. And then, well, long story short, I slept late.
You know what? Hopefully the weather is going to make, do for you so that you can find a great way to catch a nap.
Wow.
Let's check out the weather. Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashwa Alimi. Now we begin with an update on the coup in Niger Republic, where the African Union says the East African country remains suspended from all its activities following the military coup there. The Union also told its members to avoid any action that might legitimize the junta. The coup last month has caused alarm amongst the Western allies and democratic African states who fear it could allow terror groups to be active in the Sahel region to expand their reach and give Russia a foothold to increase its influence. The AU Peace and Security Council said in a communique that it had noted the decision to activate an ECOWAS standby force and asked the AU Commission to assess the economic, social and security implications of deploying such a force. It reiterated the calls on the coup leaders to immediately release elected President Mohamed Bazoum, who has been detained since the coup, and return to their barracks. Meanwhile, ECOWAS envoy to Niger Republic says there are hopes of a diplomatic solution to the political standoff in the country. With the military coup leaders and the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum after the first effort failed due to the resistance put up by the and talks will also continue towards resolving the standoff. Outside Nigeria, rescuers are struggling to free 6 children and 2 adults trapped in a cabled car dangling above a ravine in Pakistan. A military commando has tried to reach the car twice while hanging from a helicopter, but strong winds are hindering the precarious operation. Meanwhile, a local official says a rope is being laid on both sides of the cable car in an alternative rescue plan. The children, aged between 10 and 16, were going to school in Batagram when one of the cables snapped, leaving the car stuck 900 feet above ground. According to an adult stuck in the car, a 16-year-old boy in the car has a heart condition and has been unconscious for at least 2 hours as at the time of the reports. And that's it on the news update for this hour. So much more to come on the show. Just stay with us.
All right. For a Wednesday, the ladies are in the house.
Yeah. Indeed we are.
And back.
Which means we have the right to talk about some topics probably the guys might not have as much information about. I won't say they won't know anything about this, but there was a post online, I believe it was Mary that brought our attention to it.
Okay.
And it was actually a really interesting thought that came to my head. Basically, a businessman revealed, that a hospital refused to immunize a baby.
Boy.
A baby boy.
For having his hair braided. The nurse said, I'm not going to, vaccinate this child because I'm against the child's hair being plaited.
When I saw it, I was first of all taken aback. Because what does the hair have to do with the job that the nurse is supposed to do? That is the first question that comes to mind. And
she's the morality police, I beg.
morality police.
Yes, for the hospital. Please go on.
Wait, is it considered immoral for a boy child to have hair?
For some people it is.
How?
I just said it's against their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
They are
also, for some people, it's also against their values. It's against their cultural beliefs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when next we go to the hospital, we need to maybe carry
a hat.
Yes, like
Yeah,
please have mercy, help me and vaccinate this child.
Please try
have
to put
mercy.
your religious biases.
Please just
cultural
pity us,
biases
so that our child will not die of
Exactly.
diseases.
But it just actually brings me back to, it just took me back down memory lane. The girls, the twins are 10 now, and going on 16, the way they behave. But the issue now is, when we were going for vaccinations then, it was a whole hullabaloo. We had so much to carry, because there's 2 of them. And we had been going to a private hospital that had a list of vaccinations. But then there were some vaccinations that were not on the general list. There's the full state recommended list, and then there's the ones that the private hospitals give you. So you might not be able to get all of the vaccinations in one place. And I didn't think...
ones you have to get from a public hospital.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, the same way we used to carry we even used to carry, some entertainment. We used to carry snacks.
You should know, Titi, now. Extra.
But my mom, used to insist, we go prepared. But then for this particular one, we were going to a government hospital. It was different. My mom was like, we don't need that. We don't need that. Let's leave that at home. And we used to use a buggy to push them there. And she was like, nah, we're not taking a limousine into a government hospital. And I was like, limousine? So how are we going to carry? She was like, we'll carry them in our hands. I was like, okay.
Wise woman.
Yes, wise woman.
Please go on.
Got there. One of the twins began to cry for food, which, as they do. And I did the thing I always do. My expressed breast milk, brought it out of the bottle with a bottle and began to feed. If you see how these nurses pounced on me. Kilele,
What happened to your breast?
what happened to your breast? Can't you bring it out?
What happened to your mammary gland?
Bring it out. You don't want to show. What have we not seen before? I'm like, wait. This is breast milk. It's just in a bottle. that, honestly, I think we actually delayed the whole process for that day because I was being stubborn. But my mom was like, don't worry, we'll feed them later. I'm like, I can't feed my baby here. But I'm just saying there's some things I feel need to be reviewed. Some processes, some ideologies that need to be reviewed, even in the government hospitals. But I'm wondering what sort of experiences you ladies had on vaccination
I actually just want to make a comment on that too.
Okay.
Because, so the thing is this, many nurses they have certain things they've been taught.
Okay.
So like the expressed milk and all, they would expect that, okay, if both of them were asking to be breastfed at the same time, they believe the milk you brought was supposed to be backup while you are nursing one.
Okay.
There's this thing, even when you talk to nurses, they'll tell you that it's healthier and more hygienic to just simply breastfeed directly.
And also,
so if you do it in their, and it helps with your bonding. So if you do that in their presence, if it's not just a Nigerian thing, they would encourage you. It's your choice eventually. No, but I know Nigerian nurses, they act like they are your mothers. You have to do what they say, but it's your choice actually.
I was going to bring that to your attention. I was going to say the same thing that, so what they're doing is not wrong. It is the mode of communication.
Exactly. It's usually the mode of communication that is the problem.
Is. So I believe that at this point, maybe we should begin to suggest some sort of reorientation.
Yes.
In their mode of communication, because it has to be better. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It's usually aggressive, like don't you know? You should know what to do. I feel like it could be more with empathy, especially because you don't even know if this woman. So, for example, imagine if you had a sore. On your nip, or right.
So what they will do
is
through
some sort of emotional, mental issue
Yes.
at the time. Okay, so let me use my. What happened to me as an example. So during when I had Eliana, my mom, I think, my mom's, dealing with all of that, and then having her, I was emotionally and mentally distraught. So I didn't even breastfeed her as long as I could have. And then even at that point, I stopped lactating. At 4 months, I'd stopped lactating.
You were really stressed.
Yes, because I was mentally drained, right? And then I started just administered formula to her. Do you understand? So in that sort of situation, if I had been in your shoes
and that
happened to me,
of course,
I would have. Everybody would get it.
Yeah.
The matron will get it. The owner of the hospital will get it because I would have gone on them.
So
right? So they need to understand that people are dealing with so much. So when you are helping out with a piece of information, do it with love. Let it come from a place of empathy. It's very important.
This one was not lovable.
So that's usually the issue. So you want to, in quotes, call out the mother in front of other mothers so you can teach other mothers a lesson. And that usually comes off as silly at the end of the day. At the end of the day, because you can simply go to the mother and say, why don't you breastfeed? You understand? But no, you see, from the nurse's stand, they will shout, what are you doing there? Can you not breastfeed your child?
Even lightly. They will use Yoruba.
No, but really, I personally, I have no issues with nurses correcting their patients. They are more knowledgeable about all of these things, but really, they just need to do it from a place of love. Shout out to all the good nurses. I've met quite a number of wonderful nurses. And for those who still have a few things to learn, please just take a cue and do better. That's it.
Or should we say those that read their textbook backwards? I'm just saying.
We will go to the hospital tomorrow.
Stories, share your own experiences with us. People.
Please.
Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigerian. Say we gotta go now, people.
We'll be back soon.
All right, then it's time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the dailies this morning. We have quite a few newspapers to get through. Mary is here, and we're going to go through this together.
Absolutely. Okay.
Starting with the Guardian newspaper this morning, it says here, federal government ignores 17-year-old concession debt fees, renews terminal leases. Now, it has a major photo story there. It does seem to be a port in the photo story there. And page 6 has more on that. Just below the masthead, we have this. It says excess crude account down to $474,000 as federal government others share $966 billion in July. African Union suspends Niger Republic, mounts pressure on coup leaders. Tinubu retires, and NIMC boss says Koka Odushote as Koka Odushote as acting DG. UK police arraign Dezani October 2nd for bribery, recover $53 million worth of assets. Made in Nigeria phones, another good idea, awful execution. That's an editorial on page 12. How rising unemployment others worsen school dropout rate. Interesting. I'm not sure where you'd like to start. But
I'm actually looking at the how rising unemployment others worsen school dropout rates. The reality is with the state of the economy, it's almost expected that certain things are going to suffer. People's buying rate has reduced. People's entertainment budget has also reduced. And with tuition increasing in both private and public institutions, of course, it's definitely going to affect parents. It's funny how things have been rising and your salary has remained stagnant, and that's a problem many parents are having to face now.
Yeah. Choices with regards to education, even internationally speaking.
Yes.
Especially with higher education. A lot of, let's say, I'll use America as an example now. A lot of Americans actually don't consider college and tertiary education
as important.
Yes. Because of the amount of money it costs.
Yeah.
And then the amount of, in quotes, student loans that they end up paying over the next probably 10, 15 years of their lives.
Yeah.
Even in the medical, just to get a doctor's license there, you know how many years they end up paying for their education? Which is why they end up going outside America to find doctors.
Funny enough, yes, that's what usually happens. Or maybe immigrants who come in and all of that.
Yeah.
They look at it like, I'd rather spend the money on a business, and of course I'm entitled to certain benefits. So, well, let's take a look at the Nation newspaper now. The major headline there says, new twist in Niger crisis as Russian mercenaries arrive. Wagner Group rather, in Mali with arms ammunition. Abdusalami raises dialogue hopes, briefs Tinubu. Up here we see UK police charge Dezani with bribe-taking fraud. The alleged wrongdoings are stated there. We also see government to curb rising inflation with cuts in money supply. Federal government, states, councils share 966.1 billion naira as July allocation. Stock exchange joins bid to boost forex availability. APC declares Aregbesola Group's caucus as contraption. So many stories in the Nation newspaper today. Which one is your take from this?
I wanted to touch on the Dezani conversation. Now, getting charged in the UK means, you know, they've made their findings, and there's a list of alleged wrongdoings here I wanted to read from. It says here, taking £100,000 bribe in cash, access to chauffeur-driven cars, free seat on private jets, gift of luxury holidays for family, gift of payment of private school fees in the UK. Imagine how much that is. Gifts from top designer shops such as Cartier and Louis Vuitton goods.
You know how it's funny where you think you can, you know, get so many things done, but everything is being tabbed. Like there's somebody keeping tabs on it. The you know, government agency that is steadily monitoring your expenses, how you get stuff in. And I believe those are the areas Nigeria's security also needs to step up on. We have our police force, we have other agencies. I know they monitor, and that's why the BVN also came into play. But all of these extras as well being monitored, interesting.
Goodness me. So the arraignment is October 2nd, I believe.
Yes.
Obviously, that's the story we will be looking out for.
Over the next few weeks. Let's take a look at the Nation. You should.
Yeah. This is the Nation I was looking at just now. We still have the Punch newspaper.
Okay.
Here it says anger as state's warehouse Rice delay palliatives sharing. Borno distributes rice to 400,000 households. Workers lament hunger, demand relief. Labour insists 5 billion naira not enough. Gombe promises workers 10,000 naira. Anambra 12,000 naira. It says at the top left there, Niger, the AU plans fresh sanctions. Absalami warns against war. Federal government, states, local governments share 966 billion July revenue. And EFCC mum as Dezani faces bribery charge in the UK. The photo story there does seem to be regarding the palliative story there. The Borno State Governor, during the distribution of palliatives to 3,000 vulnerable residents in Borno there. It also talks about the Naira slump. Here, manufacturers' raw material imports hit 8 trillion Naira. And doctors plan September 1st strike over unpaid allowances.
So I was actually looking at the Naira slump story. Manufacturers' raw material import hit 8 trillion Naira. I was talking to a friend who works in a food company, and that was about 2 weeks ago. And he said, if you can put your hands on some cash now, it would be wise for you to stock up, because prices are not just going to rise, they're going to steadily rise because of the cost of raw materials. And the unfortunate part is people have reached that limit. Like, people feel it's too high already. If it gets any higher, how will they survive? And the thing is, it's going to have a ripple effect, because if people can barely feed, there are other industries that are going to suffer. For now, clubs are still in operation. You will see fewer people there. Restaurants, you see more people at bookers. These things will cause a ripple effect. Yes, there are still the people who can afford it, but the people who are, who go there for treats will no longer be able to. It's just the reality on ground. But anyway, let's...
I think it is a wise thing to stock up at this point.
If you can afford it, that's another thing. If you cannot afford it, what do you do?
And even adjusting what is on your menu these days seem wise. There were a lot of people who were inclined to a lot of imported foods and the like. Maybe you might need to make some adjustments.
Someone talking about reducing children's feeding. I laugh in what language now? I don't know. Daily Trust newspaper is next. And it has this one: Tinubu's 48 ministers to go up 8.6 billion naira in 4 years. More to be spent on Esther Code's orders. Earnings to shoot after RMFAC's wages review. It's wasteful. Implement Oronsaya reports now. That's coming from experts. National Assembly should trim cabinet to 20. Here we also have pilots of crashed NEF jets buried in Zaria. UK reduces tariff on 3,000 Nigerian products. Positive stuff. AU suspends Niger as ECOWAS delegation assures of diplomacy. Down here we see insecurity. Defense Minister demands timeline from service chiefs. You can't frustrate me, Umahi tells civil servants. British police to arraign Jezani October 2 over bribery. Father kills son, burns cubs over cassava in Akwa Ibom. That's gory.
There's something interesting about the Daily Trust. Whenever they put on, a cover story, they try to give you an infographic, and you have quite a few numbers here, compare and contrast.
Showing you what they're talking about.
Exactly, and the past governments and the number of ministers appointed by past presidents since 1999 is also right there. And it's an interesting array. Apparently having 48 over the past, out of the past 6 presidents, 48 is the largest number on this list. So it is a debate, it is a conversation that's being had as to, the reason for it. But then again, the number of things that need to be done as a nation has also increased. The areas that need to be sorted out need to be...
Like the Ministry of Youth has been taken out. So several things were broken down so that there's more focus on each one. But hey, Oh, well, I can understand how, you know, the concerns people have, because that is, of course, more cost.
It is. But we will, as always, be looking out for these stories and give you follow-ups as they come in. Make sure you stay close. There's still quite a little coming your way right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us.
They say flowers or plants bring life. That was a beautiful feature there. Moving on to our relationship segment. Are you in a relationship and you're not exactly sure the fates of your relationship at the moment? This discussion is definitely for you. We have with us Seun Olabode. She's an author, founder, and lead counselor of the Relationship and Marriage Academy, a platform that offers pragmatic approaches to help individuals and couples heal, thrive, and forge lasting marriages. And this morning, she'll be discussing and breaking down the factors that determine the faith of any relationship. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing cool, thank you.
Great, let's get right into it. We've already sort of laid the foundation for this discussion even before now. But let's get right into it. What are the factors that determine the fate of any relationship?
Okay, thank you. Before I jump into that, I would want to make it clear that only two fates can befall any relationship. It's either the relationship brings happiness, fulfillment, and pleasure, or the relationship brings pain and regrets. And the factors that can determine the fate of any relationship is how you manage, number one, the upbringing and growth environment differentials. Number two, how you manage your significant emotional differences. And number three, how you manage religious differences.
Wow, that's a lot of things that you have brought to the fore. Now, let's take it one at a time. So first, you talked about upbringing and background differentials, right? Explain that to us.
So, not two people are exactly the same. No two families are exactly the same. One man's food happens to be another man's poison in certain instances.
Yeah.
And when you don't get to understand where this person is coming from, because where your growth environment and your upbringing largely influences your social behavior, your attitude to life, your customs, and the things you expect. So if you don't get to know this and understand yourself and find a common point, you are likely going to clash. For instance, somebody might be coming from a background where their idea of vacation is going to the Bahamas, going to Dubai, and the other person is coming from a background where the idea of vacation is going to the village for Christmas, drinking palm wine. So by the time those people come together and there hasn't been mutual understanding and agreement based on their economical ability and capabilities, one will be expecting that by Christmas or by the holidays, I should be going to the Bahamas,
When
and the
Oga
other
wants to
person
go
is
to the
thinking
village.
we are going to the village.
You know, it's interesting that you would bring that up because, okay, talking about upbringing and backgrounds, at what point, or growth rather, at what point should this conversation be had? I'm talking in the relationship now. Is it before the relationship, while the relationship is still ongoing, or the aftermath of the relationship where, you're making plans towards marriage or, lifelong, commitment plans? At what point should these conversations be had?
Yeah, I think it's best had once you're beginning to note that the friendship you are having with this person is going beyond the ordinary familiar relationship or friendship. There is this cordiality you have with people around you.
Yeah.
Once you're beginning to pick that this person wants more than cordial relationship or friendship with you, you need to start asking questions so that you don't have invested emotions only to get heartbroken.
Now let's talk about the second factor that you mentioned.
So the second factor I mentioned is the significant emotional experience. The things we go through in life influences how we relate in marriages and emotional relationships. So if you're somebody
especially during childhood.
Yeah. So if you've been either abused before, if you've been emotionally damaged, or if you've endured a heartbreak before, it's likely that you would have made certain conclusions or deductions consciously or subconsciously, and that can affect how available and how sincere you are in the next relationship.
Okay.
So maybe somebody broke your heart after you've been totally open and sincere with the person, or somebody used a past that you confided in them against you. In the future, you are likely to be more careful, less trusting when you enter that relationship. And that does not mean that the other person will do what this past person did to you. So you might be doing the new person an injustice.
Justice, right.
And if the other person is beginning to sense that you are not being open and loving to them as they are to you, it can bring a strain in the relationship.
You know, this factor that you have just raised is pretty, it's also very critical. I mean, I think it's very, very important. And a lot of people, you know, just keep carrying on their baggages from one relationship to the next. And they don't know that they have this, you know, emotional baggage that they're carrying. Let's talk about identifying these emotional issues and how one can deal with them, you know, even before getting into the next relationship.
So what I tell people as a counselor, when I counsel them at Rama, what I tell people is that even if you've only been in one relationship and the relationship goes south, for everything that doesn't work out in the relationship, two people are guilty. It's only that the percentage of error might vary. Somebody might be 90% wrong, the other person might be 10% wrong. So the only way to improve is to critically analyze what went wrong, detach yourself, detach emotions from it. What went wrong? What role did I play in this going?
damage?
In fact, the role might be as simple as you picking the wrong person. This person did the whole thing wrong, but why did you say yes to that wrong person, or why did you propose to that wrong person? That means there's something you don't know about picking the right person.
Yeah,
That might
but
be
then
the
you're
wrong
talking
thing.
about critical thinking here, and that's a skill that a lot of people do not have.
That is the importance of having counselors. That is the importance of going for relationship schooling or education before you go into it. It's amazing that people spend 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, as the case may be, in getting certificates that will use to work. Work that you can change from a point in time to another point in time when you are not satisfied. And they do not invest in the knowledge of life relationship, emotional relationship, marriages that would influence who you are and how you are able to produce and be effective in other things.
Because it's very important.
It's very important.
Quickly, we have to wrap this up. Let's talk about the third factor.
So the third factor is religion and religious differences. And when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about people practicing different
faiths.
religions or different faiths. I'm even talking about people that practices the same or claim to practice the same faith,
But
but
have different
believe in
values.
different doctrines.
Oh,
They have different ideologies. There are some faith that will claim that the way you look like an unbeliever in your appearance. You will claim the same faith,
I
but
agree.
according to their doctrine, you are an
Yeah, I'm
unbeliever.
okay.
So it's amazing
yeah.
that some people would, for instance, now you belong to a faith
You know
that.
what? This conversation, we cannot exhaust it
Yeah.
right here.
So
right
what
here.
I tell people is that look for someone that believes in your ideologies and doctrine.
On that note, you have to go. Look for people that believe in your ideologies.
So
Thank you so
don't
much.
create
This
problem for
conversation
anybody.
Has been so insightful. Thank you so much. We have
You're
to go on a
welcome.
quick break now,
You're
people.
welcome.
It is the top of the hour. Wake Up Nigeria continues shortly. Please stay with us.
You know, happiness is found from within when you learn to appreciate your blessings. And with all the amazing content we have been churning out since the first hour, we like to believe we are a blessing.
We are, especially looking this good. We're definitely blessing your screens this morning. And so, hey, open your arms, embrace all the love, because we have quite a bit packed for the second hour. And if you're just joining us, welcome to the brighter side of Nigerian TV.
Yes, the next 45 minutes promises to be more fun because there is enough time for us to add a splash of sunshine to your day. So make sure you stay with us. Yes, I'm so loving that Ashake song, Sunshine. So anytime I see Sunshine, that song just comes to my mind. Even though it's like, you know, a cover. The sun's gonna shine on everything we do.
Speaking of sunshine, she has sunshine in her smile. Her name is MM.
And she's in the kitchen right now.
shine with us. Like our life depends on it.
sunshine.
We radiate sunshine, we radiate love, we radiate peace, we radiate everything good. Anyways, thank you guys for staying with us. And we apologize, our chef couldn't make it on the show this morning, but we promise you, tomorrow's chef, hey, you don't want to miss what's the recipes that are going to be coming out of this kitchen tomorrow morning on the show. So yeah, stay with us on that one.
Well, in the meantime, you can feed your eyes on what's going to be going on the show today. My name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And I'm Titilayo Oyin. So remember, you can use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all social media platforms to be a part of the show. You can also watch us live from absolutely anywhere across the world via our mobile app. Download that from Google Play or iOS.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you should be following us across all our social media platforms. And that, of course, is via @TVC Connect. You can watch us on GOTV channel 16 and on UHF band 49 as well.
Quite a bit still coming your way for a musical performance. We have SOB 360, a versatile creative force in the music industry. And hey, it's all about him and his latest single, Later On. And finally, on the couch, we have Raymond Okirike, professionally known as OTs. He's a Nigerian born in the UK, and it's going to be a really interesting conversation you do not want to miss. Stay with us on that one.
Time for a conversation with Akimboye Odeko of Classicus Events. Well, this is an organization that supplies rentals and so much more. I think it's best for you to tell us exactly what you do, because I know you do a lot of stuff. But first, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today.
The name of the company is Classicus Rentals. It was established in 1990 with my wife, Dr. Moji Odeku. We're into rentals of chairs, tables, canopies, marquees, and a lot of things that involves with rentals. We've been in the business for 33 years, and we go as far as Maiduguri, Kanu, just to make sure that we deal with the opening of venues, rentals of parties, weddings, and all that. And we can just say that parties are our business.
You know, I like that particular part you just said now, that parties are our business, because back then, people just saw rental business as, oh, you have it at home. Somebody needs it in the neighborhood. Okay, just put it out. But you've had this as a business for over 30 years. How did it all begin?
Well, I used to work in Pacific Merchant Bank with Davido's father, and I went on holiday, and I saw this marquee or this tent in BJ's in the US, and I said, why don't I start a rental company? And I resigned from Pacific, and I started buying chairs, tables, canopies, and along the line, it started expanding. It's a very capital-intensive business.
Yes.
You find yourself being involved buying from China, from the USA and America and all that, because our people, they tend to like new things.
New things, yes.
Better
You
things.
have to keep...
Yes, and because we don't manufacture them here, they will always say, Mr. Classical, is there a new chair, glass table and all that? So you find out that along the years, because we've concentrated only on that business and we've not been going here and there, we've been able to make a name for ourselves and a brand in the industry.
So I'm very curious about what you do with the old ones.
Okay.
How do you get rid of them? Do you simply recycle them, keep them in storage, then use them for certain events, or once you phase them out, they're gone?
Well, what we normally do is that we tend to either sell them out to upcoming rental organizations that can afford the new ones we have. And there was a time we had like I won't call it a bazaar, I wouldn't call it it's like a selling of old products.
Okay.
And then we gave it out. And some, you just have no choice. We have to destroy them because it's no more in vogue and people will not patronize them. But each year, new things evolve and you see new products coming in. It's becoming a big industry now.
Now, with the fact that you have to keep bringing this stuff in, and then, of course, knowing what the exchange rate is now, some rental companies, they simply just use their old stuff. But you are known for always being inventive, bringing in the new stuff. How is your business coping in this time?
Well, I need not to tell you the truth because of the exchange rate and all that. And that's one of the few things I regret, that if I've been in business for 30 years, there's no reason why we should not be manufacturing these things. If you really look at it, the Chinese that do it, they just make a mold and they produce a lot of them. So what has happened in recent time is because of the exchange, we've not been able to bring anything new. Don't forget, COVID has just finished everybody in the industry. So you tend to have what I would not call not too new now.
Okay.
But we're believing that if things improve and we're able to go out for the Canton Fair program in China, you see a lot of new products that is being produced. We tend to buy more from China now than the US because of the rate. But like I said, the exchange rate is just wow.
But then, of course, we have local companies who manufacture some of these items. Is it that you've reached out to them, but they don't quite get the design you want, or you're just wary is why you haven't?
Yes, I don't want to mention name, but there's one big, maybe I should just mention the name. They also produce chairs and tables now. I think Eleganza does something like that. Reaching out to them. But you see, the problem is that when you sit down and look at what's the cost of buying here and the cost of bringing,
in comparison to importation,
you just bring it in.
Oh, so it's even a lot cheaper.
Yes, because there are a lot of things that affect industries. Don't forget that power is a problem. Look at the rate of diesel. So the production cost may end up being maybe 5,000 naira, and you can bring it in at 3,000 naira. So that's why you find that, except some things improve, to bring it down, there's no need for us going abroad.
Okay, so let's go back to running the business.
Okay.
Let's even start from the angle where you had to resign to start this. Now, unlike recently, back then, people would think you were crazy to leave your job to start something that many people were still like seen as, oh, part-time, because for years, many people saw rental business as part-time. Yeah, so for you to resign to focus on it solely, what was the reaction, especially from your spouse?
Dr. Deleke, like I said, was my boss, Davido's father. He runs Pacific Merchant Bank. And I remember when I went to his house in Ikeja and I said, excuse me, sir, I'm resigning. He said, what do you want to do? Because everybody goes to the finance world, opening a bank. I said, I want to go to rentals. It was like, Odeku, are you crazy? They now said, don't worry. Whenever you want your job back, I'll give you your job.
Stop it. Like he was so confident you're going to be back.
Yeah, but I've met him a couple of times on the plane and he's so happy for me. Now, that's one thing about business. You just have to be steadfast. It was rough initially. I'm also a lawyer. So there are times I said, why don't I just stop this business and do charge and bail to make money? If you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But you find out that if you are very, very versatile and you know what you're doing and you know the demand of Nigerians, it's called classicals. We have a class. And not only that, you know your target audience. You know those that will patronize you and those that can afford it.
Your services.
And there's a lot of people want good products. So we call it good products, good thinking, good service. So that has kept us on. We've had our own challenges. I mean, imagine the time there was no fuel in the country, a lot of business collapsed, the time of COVID, etc. But like I said, we've been focused, and 33 years is not moi.
It's not moi. Funny that you mentioned the 33 years, because I was going to say that you started off as the boss, the CEO, and now you are the coordinator. How does it feel to step back for your son to be the CEO now?
Yes, ironically, my son was born in the US, and I tend to believe that we should bring our children back home. So one of the ways you could do is just give him the opportunity to run the business so that he could eventually see that there's a need for us not to jackpot, and this country can be better off. So what I do now is that I'll just leave him and allow him to make the mistakes, and then I'll correct him, and he seems to...
But was he open to it initially?
Yes, he wasn't, but I have only one child.
Oh.
So I just tell him that whatever I've done, that's your business.
So you have to do it.
So if I die, do whatever you want with the business. So I think I got it right that let me just start right. So, and that's how we've been running.
At least it's doing well under your tutelage, and it's a good thing.
Well, that's what people should do. The Jews are not better than us. What they do is that they pass their business from one generation to another. And then you find out that's why they're so wealthy. So a new Jew baby coming in, he has already got what I would say, wealth waiting before him. And that's what we should do in this country. Let's pass our business from one generation to another, and it will be well.
Well, we must say that I've actually learned a thing or two today, especially
very
regarding business and also family in business as well.
You, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your
It's a
time,
pleasure.
Mr. Akimboye
Odeku. Yes,
It's been quite an interesting
Thank you very
conversation.
much.
Thank
And,
you so much.
TVC, thank you for giving us the opportunity.
It's our pleasure.
We say a choice, not a compromise.
A choice, not a compromise.
That's it. So you have a choice to have your party and just pick anything. But because you don't want to compromise, you will come to Classicus.
Thank you for partnering
Thank you
with
very
us.
much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, man.
Man.
Welcome back, people. You're
Yeah?
tuned in to Wake Up Nigeria. It's time for a beautiful conversation with Raymond Omukwe Okereke. He's popularly known as OT.
Yes, he is. Nigerian-born UK artist. Now, he's best known for being a rapper, but he's quite a bit more than that. I even hear he's acted before. He's a songwriter as well. It's great to have you on the couch. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
For all my Igbo people, I just want to greet them first.
Oh, sure.
All right,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, do your
So,
thing.
I'm greeting you all. Otutu Oma, Ahambu, Oti.
Okay, so the camera's right there.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Sorry. So, Ahambu, Oti, a.k.a. ABA Finest, a.k.a. Fine Boy President. Where's the election?
Wow.
What
Okay.
an introduction.
And what a smile. Can you do that one more time?
Yeah.
Smile.
Oh,
yeah. So
nice.
I didn't just want you to smile. I wanted to see what was going on there.
Oh, the grills.
Yeah.
They're
That's
quite
interesting.
captivating.
Thank you.
So how long have you had them on? Are they temporary, permanent?
No, they're not permanent. It's like grills. They're temporary. I put them on when I feel like. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So you need to talk to us about this new single of yours.
Yes. So my new single is On God, featuring Matusan. Yeah, he's a Nigerian rapper.
Okay.
He's also an artist. He draws and
Oh,
does other
okay.
stuff. Yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
Let's talk about the rap industry in Nigeria a little
Yeah.
bit. Because, I mean, you've been doing this since you were 16. So you have sort of experienced, different transitions that the industry has experienced in Nigeria. And there's been a lot of evolution as well. Where do you see the rap industry now, or like where it used to be?
I mean, it's still going well. You know, I think it's gone more bigger than before. You have artists like Black Bones doing big things. I think he recently did a track with Ludacris, which is an international collab. So rap is going well. I would just say that Afrobeats is kind of a step ahead. So all rappers, we just need to find a way to maybe we'll just meet with the Afro people.
What do you think you need to do, to make sure that happens?
More international collabs.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
And also to push the rap songs more. Because
Okay.
back in the days, I think when people like Dremo came, YC, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody want to do rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's all Afro and less rappers. So
Okay.
So there's something about the music industry. It does tend to be seasonal, and that gives some people some sort of a little anxiety about where their future would be going if they decided to go into music. This is where I take you back now, because your parentage, it's an interesting parentage. You're from Abia State.
yes.
So
Abia State.
that must have been interesting, presenting to your father that you wanted
Be a
to.
rapper.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, so I think the way it happened was my popsy saw me doing like music. Yeah, so when I was young, other children would go home and be watching cartoon. Me, music channels,
Okay.
all of them. That's all I watched.
Okay.
I would sit down, write songs, rap. So I think he used to like peep in and he watch me. So after a while, I was like, okay, no wahala, this is not what you want to do.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and
It's allowed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also know that you and your dad, used to work together. Like he would help you with some of your songs, and your brother as well.
Yes,
Talk
yes.
to us how that experience was for you.
I mean, at first, okay, I didn't tell him I wanted to do music, although he knew, because he was paying
noticed.
attention.
Yeah.
So when I came to him about it, he was full support, hands down. The first track that I recorded, he's the one that found the sound engineer. He took me to the studio himself and all that. So my brother was in full support. So that's just how it
All right, but it's a big investment. Music is a big investment.
Yes.
You need a lot of financial support as well.
Yes, yes.
And if I know an average Nigerian parent, they're going to say, you know what, you have to go to school first.
Yeah.
You're studying in the UK now. What are you studying?
I'm studying digital marketing and advertising.
Interesting.
What's the interest?
Well, it has to do with music as well. So with that skill set, I can market myself, push myself, out there. And obviously, I want to do other things aside from music,
Like what?
other businesses.
Like what?
Plenty, I don't know. When I get there.
Okay, let's talk about some of your inspirations in the music industry in Nigeria. I mean, you've been doing this since you were a teenager. I'm sure you've had like a few people that you mirrored, your craft after. Talk to us about some of them.
Okay, so growing up, I used to listen to a lot of Afro music because I was in Nigeria. Yeah, so I think I'll say Fino.
Interesting.
Yes, Fino, funny enough. Fino, Mr. Raw, M.I. So those were the people I was listening to. And then 50 Cent was the only international artist I was sort of listening to at that time. So,
Okay.
yeah, these artists.
But you probably took a few things from their work and infused in yours. What especially were you looking out for with theirs?
With each artist was different things I was picking from them. So M.I. is a lyricist, he's very lyrical. Same with Mr. Raw. Fino is a bit of both worlds, Yeah, so I was just taking things that I could learn that I could put into my music, image-wise, how they moved, what they did, stuff like that, and then implement that into my music.
Let's talk a bit about, because you mentioned Afrobeat like a couple of times, and I can tell that you are, much as you're a rapper, it's also sort of influenced in your genre of, the kind of music that you do. How has that influenced you as a person?
Afrobeats?
Yes.
The thing with Afrobeats is there's a lot of things you can learn from it. There are stories that are being told. People's upbringing, how they started. There's a lot of lessons that you learn. It's not just the music, even doing that vibe and you go to dance and all that. There's messages in there. There's a lot to learn. So there are several songs that I've listened to, that are life lessons you learn from there, and you can implement those into your life. Music is not just to dance and to enjoy. There's actual messages that all these artists, they send. It's up to you to listen and...
All right, so I'm going to piggyback on that.
Yeah.
Because your latest single is called On God. What is the message in that one?
Okay, so at the time when I recorded On God, I was praying at the time. I had, there were some things I was kind of going through, school-wise, the stress, all those kind of things. So, and out of the prayer that came On God, so I just sat down. There's a message that I need to put out there, something as well to talk to God about, and that's how On God came. So, pretty much.
You wrote that yourself, yes?
Yes.
All through?
All through, everything.
Nice, colorful video, actually. Where was that shot?
I was shot in Lagos.
Where?
Somewhere in Ikeja.
Okay,
The
okay.
actual area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in the UK for a while now studying. Have you got to also explore, that the music industry over
In the
there?
UK.
Yeah.
Yes, I have, but my main interest is here. It's always been Nigeria.
Okay.
I've never had interest with outside,
Okay.
like the UK. Although they have a very good thing going there, but Nigeria has always been my home, and this is where I want to do everything.
Explore.
Yeah.
Oh, great. On God, I mean, I can't wait to hear
the song.
I mean, talking about lyrics, I mean, there was a conversation recently, I don't know if you saw the video of Spyro, having, talking about the lyrics of his song and, how, he's being intentional with putting out clean lyrics. Is that something that, you can also relate with? Because, I mean, you seem like a very spiritual person.
Yes. I mean, you need to be, as an artist, you need to be careful what you put out. Because whatever message you put out can influence people. So you better put something that would inspire people in a positive light. So yes, I do look at my lyrics and things that I say, try not to, go towards a negative side of things. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm hoping we can hear, like, maybe even if it's just 8 bars of your track. Can we hear that from you now? That's your camera right there. You want to give us a piece?
All right. I'm looking for the money where it day. ABA hustler, the issues in my veins. Rapping on the beat, DJ bring it back again.
Okay, all right. Not exactly 8, but yeah. But I'm just like, okay, so the thing is, it is all about the message, though.
Yeah.
You connecting with your audience is also about the message. What sort of responses have you been getting from your fans?
When I showed the snippet of On God, a lot of people like it. So they're like, even with the collab, I think I did well with the collab as well. People like the collab, the person I featured on the song.
Matosa.
Yeah, Matosan. So everything was a good blend.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the collaborations. I mean, now you're in Lagos, and I know that the music industry, it's a bit stiff.
Yeah. It's a big competition.
It's a lot of competition, darling.
yeah.
How do you plan to navigate through that competition?
I think you need to start somewhere first.
Okay.
So it's to build your audience, your fan base, and not just blow like that immediately.
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere. You build a hard fan base and you go from there. So same thing with Ashake. He had to take him time. He built his fan base. Little by little, people knew him, and then soon enough, he did a song and boom. So you have to start somewhere. You don't just blow all of a sudden.
Yeah. I know that you have a record label.
Yes.
Right. And I mean, you own the record label. You're the artist on the record label.
Yes.
So as much as you're also managing the record label, you're also managing yourself
Managing
as an
myself.
artist, right?
Well,
So-
my dad is also managing me.
Oh,
I put
okay.
him in that position.
Okay.
So anything that I'm doing, he's here. He's
Oh,
with me.
yes.
And my brother as well.
Ooh,
They always
okay.
follow me.
See, family support. You're so lucky.
So,
Oh, nice. Okay, now, yeah, so let's talk about how you want to sustain, because relevance is something.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of new artists have, also shared their fear with, just being one-hit wonders. How do you plan to, keep being relevant and, sustaining your craft in this very competitive industry?
being versatile. Yeah, so instead of sticking to one style or, and doing it over and over again on repeat, you need to change, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right,
to
then.
be versatile.
All right.
No
great.
pressure. It is a tough industry, but we are rooting for you.
Yes,
we are
we are.
definitely rooting for you.
Thank you.
We have to see that video for On God, and we're going to be wrapping it up after that. Let's see
Yeah.
it.
President where election. Talking him get here and detention. And they made a call, got they looking for attention. I'm a bad boy, so you gotta stand attention. Turn of vision like I'm cold.
Hey.
All right. It's definitely a vibe.
I
definitely.
mean, there's a lot of emphasis on the fine boy. It was such a pleasure having you here on the
Yeah.
show.
Thank you,
Wishing
thank
you
you.
all the best
Yeah.
in this tough world.
It is what it is.
We will definitely be looking out for you
Yeah.
on these music streets. But we have to wrap it up at this point. Wake Up
Yeah.
Nigeria has been fun today.
Yes, it has. We have Mary in the kitchen.
Yes, so,
And
hey, how's it going? All right, then. And as always, we will be back again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
have a beautiful day, people.
All right,
Bye.
bye.